Of reproductive structures in the fetus does involve some hormones or reproductive signaling or endocrine signaling. And so two of these are the anti-Mullerian duct hormone, which we mentioned is going to be made in the males to cause degeneration of the Mullerian duct and persistence of the Wolffian duct. We'll also have within those testes cords, as they start to get made and mature, testosterone being made from the Leydig cells, and that also stimulates these cells within the Wolffian duct to start differentiating into the male genitalia. So these are also hormone-directed processes, and so they would be considered part of the secondary sexual characteristics. And there's some interesting sorts of scenarios that can develop if you have mutations in genes critical for this pathway. So here's a syndrome called androgen insensitivity syndrome, and this person is genetically XY, but morphologically really looks like the female phenotype. And what's happened here is that testosterone is being made just like normal according to the XY genotype, but there is a mutation in the receptor for testosterone. So the cells don't have an ability to sense that in fact testosterone is present, and so they switch over to the other choice of what I do if there's no testosterone present, and we get more of the female phenotype. So that's sort of an interesting instruction on how the body is making these decisions, at least at the level of secondary sexual characteristics for male morphology versus female morphology. So this person is not making any eggs because of the primary sexual characteristics going by more of a different mechanism, so she's not fertile, or he's not fertile. Then another syndrome is Turner's syndrome, and this is an XO female. So there's a lack of a Y here, so we're not making any SRY gene product, which gets to the question that came up here. And this person will develop as morphologically as a female, and however the secondary sexual differentiation is a little bit less robust. So the body characteristics look kind of almost like a young girl, even though this person is actually 30 years old. So there's not very extensive breast development, and even within the reproductive tract, not very extensive egg development. And then Klinefelter syndrome is another situation. So this is two X's plus a Y. And these individuals tend to be kind of tall and lanky. And they're mainly male in phenotype because they do have the Y chromosome. They do make SRY. So for primary and also secondary sexual differentiation, those pathways are both activated. And these can have some problems with fertility. So sex is chromosomally determined. This is just our last slide here. So this gives you some examples of what's happening that you actually need to have genes expressed from the X and the Y. And so if we think about, are the females considered female development in mammals to be the default state? Like if you don't have SRY, would you automatically get a default female morphology? And the answer is not really, because if you think back to that, the model there with the blue and the pink regions, in both cases you still need to have that proactive establishment of certain number of genes for females and different set of genes for the males. So it is true that SRY is kind of the trigger that initially pushes that one way or the other, but both of male and female are active gene-directed processes. And then this slide makes a little bit more sense in the spring when we've had the chance to talk about kidneys that are developing. So it turns out that in kidney development, there's actually 3 versions. So the body makes one kidney, and that one degenerates. The body makes a second kidney, and that one does not persist functionally as a kidney, but some of the structures become part of the reproductive tract. So some of these structures, which include little tubules, these become part of the Wolffian duct and then part of the male sperm traveling pathway. And, or in the female, could become part of the oviducts. And then finally, the body will make a third set of kidney-type tubules, and these actually persist as the functional kidney. Okay, any questions on material so far? Okay, we're a little bit early, it's 8:39, so let's go to 8:49 and come back for the second half.